Have you spoken to the president since last week?
Yeah, I have, actually.
Okay. And on that note, are you afraid going forward that there's still significant room for, we keep using Mark Levin, I'm really using it as a stand-in for a group of people that include Lindsey Graham, that include John Bolton, for that wing of the Republican Party, the broader conservative movement, to still have significant input over policy in the Middle East, but particularly Iran?
Am I concerned that like normal people will have input, or am I concerned? I mean, the normal people won.
Right.
Again, it's not even ideological. I've got all kinds of theories about all kinds of things. Some of them are stupid, probably. But it's not even about like what your worldview is. It's just super simple. I live here. My 4 kids live here. I hope to have grandchildren here. The country's got a ton of problems. I think the government should focus on those problems first and foremost, not other people's problems. Doesn't mean I'm not an isolationist. I shouldn't ignore the world. I've been all around, though. I've been to like every country in the world, practically. I've been everywhere. I'm really interested in the world. I don't hardly want to be isolated, of course. Mark Levin never gets out of his studio. You're an isolationist. Okay. No, I'm not an isolationist. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that as a father treats his family, a president and a government should treat their country, which is put the country first. That's it. Your first concern. Doesn't mean I don't care about my neighbor's kids. I do. I love my neighbor's kids. But I love my kids most because they're my kids. That's all I'm saying. And show that you mean it by acting that way. And so you should be a lot more upset with the Mexican drug cartels, which kill people I know in my town, including recently, than you are with the mullahs in Iran. That's not a defense of the mullahs in Iran. I'm not pro-mullah at all. But like from my perspective as an American, I'm a lot more afraid of the drug cartels than I am of the mullahs. And that doesn't make me a bigot. And by the way, if you say that it does, you've just disqualified yourself. Like that's just sort of the thing. I'm just kind of sick of identity politics. I really am. I voted against it actually in November when I voted for Donald Trump. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of laws that single out one group for protection or punishment. I think we should be treated as citizens regardless of what group we're from. I just don't like the whole group thing. Mm-hmm. They would always say, you're a white supremacist. No, I'm not. I'm mad at a lot of white people, actually, most, if you want to know the truth. But I don't want to think of people in terms of the group they were born into. I just don't like that kind of thinking. I don't like the left because it has institutionalized that kind of thinking. And so when I see members of Congress passing laws that apply to like a small percentage of Americans, I'm like, wait a second, I voted against this. I'm not against those Americans at all. I just think that all laws should apply to all Americans equally. Your concern should be for people on the basis of their citizenship, not their racial, ethnic, or religious group, on their citizenship. The U.S. government should care about U.S. citizens, not some, all, including the ones you disagree with and don't like, all, because we're all citizens. That's a unifying message. And that's being lost. And Republicans in the Congress don't seem to agree. They're all totally into identity politics all of a sudden. I thought we hated that. I think my memory is too good to live in this country because like things change and people are like, oh no, it's always been this way. No, it's not. Mark Levin was not a leading host on Fox. He was a joke. Mark Levin's not a foreign policy expert. He's a guy with a like weird personal life and like a love of killing. No, we're not for identity politics. We're against that. I remember this. Anyway, I think it's important to be the guy who remembers, and I want to be that guy.
So saying, because you just used the word unifying, and it turned out to be a perfect segue to a question I wanted to ask, saying that Mark Levin, Ted Cruz don't care about America.
Yeah.
Is that, like, because a lot of people might look at that and say, Tucker, they probably think they do care about America. Do you think
really?
That's an interesting distinction to me?
Show me how. They just rolled the dice right up to a global conflict. I'm not speculating, okay?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons Donald Trump didn't want a global conflict. He said that. I think he handled this, if what was announced today holds, I think we can say that was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing brinksmanship there. Scared the crap out of me, I'll tell you that. Why wouldn't I be afraid? Anyone who's like, oh, you were afraid. Really? Yeah, I care about America. Been here a long time. Plan to stay. Like, why wouldn't I be afraid? It's a threat to my country. It's not, so I'm a pussy for being afraid? Okay, I'm a pussy.
Yeah, but, nuclear war.
But I was.
Right.
Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah.
I have children. I'm actually not that worried about dying at this stage. I'm pretty old, but I am worried about people I love dying. So yeah, I was afraid. And I think anyone, in the same way you'd be afraid if you had a home invasion, you'd be afraid for your wife and kids. You're the dad. Like, it's your job to defend them. And maybe you're a little bit paranoid about it or something. That's okay. Paranoia in the defense of your loved ones is no vice. And so people who are like, oh, I see these creepy foreigners online being like telling me what America First is. It's like, you're like, go away. I don't know what you're doing here, weighing in on my country's politics, but it's one of the things. Last thing I'll say is I'm not reading. I'm getting offline for a while because I think part of the gig is to get in your head to like put someone like Mark Levin, who's so reckless and stupid and crazy and vicious, or that lunatic girl who's running around who's equally or more so. And the point is to make you crazy, kind of. Like you see that and you're like, are you kidding? Mark Levin, the Never Trumper, is lecturing me about what it is to like Trump, who I campaigned for Trump. And I think it's kind of an op or something. It's like designed to make you into a babbling crazy person, which unfortunately I've become a little bit tonight because I have such a mixture of emotions. So I'm sorry to inflict that on you. You're such a sweet person, Emily. I'm sorry. But I think it's good to step away from that a little bit and like have some silence in your life. And maybe the joke is on me that I'm all of a sudden paying attention to Mark Levin because I do feel like he was such a dangerous influence on the course of this country. But I'm gonna really studiously just ignore that. For the same reason I don't have a TV. I don't want that crap in my house. There's nothing you're telling me that I didn't know. There's nothing you're telling me that's true. I just don't want it. In the same way I don't like stream porn into my kitchen. Like I don't want that. I think I'm gonna pull back from the internet a little bit. And I think I'll be a wiser person for doing so.
On that note, people will wonder if you believe that the last, 48 hours, 24 hours, actually 12 hours since Trump made this announcement proves that your worldview is in some way wrong, that, your restraint in foreign entanglements based on...
We just showed restraint. Trump forced a ceasefire between people who hate each other.
After striking.
That is restraint. Right, but... the level of risk was really high for me. I'll just say that. I am like genuinely conservative because I care. I don't even know if Mark Levin has biological children. I don't know that he does. I have no idea. I'll stop attacking Mark Levin. I'm just saying I see everything through the lens of my family, and why wouldn't I? I'm the head of my family, and that's my obligation. That's my duty to see everything through the lens of their well-being. And is this good for them? Tell me how exactly. Yeah, I felt really threatened by that. And I think that, all's well that ends well. It looks like and I think it's, again, I'm not just speculating. I think this is real for now. And I pray that it remains real. And I think it totally could. I think interests are aligned, actually. I think it's a very clever arrangement they've come up with, and I'm grateful for it.